Welcome to Breakpoint, the ServiceNow Developer Podcast.
Hello, admins, builders, developers, and curious individuals, I say with the utmost love and respect. Welcome back to the Breakpoint Podcast, the ServiceNow Developer Podcast, here to teach you all the latest tools, tips, and tradecraft to accelerate your developer career. My name is Lauren McManamon, and I am one of the senior developer advocates here at ServiceNow, and I am joined by yet another senior developer advocate here today, Kristy Merriam. Kristy, how are you?
I'm great, Lauren. How are you? It's great to be here again.
So good. When was the last time you were on the podcast? It's been a long time. New Year's?
It's been a while. I was trying to think, it wasn't when I was hired. I think I've been on one since I started as an advocate, I think.
Yeah, I think we did one right before Christmas, like a warm-up one, but then it just went straight into like all the other heavy
Yeah. So it's been a minute.
Well, we're thrilled to have you back on. It's probably because all your crazy travel that we haven't been able to catch up on Breakpoint. Kristy has been literally all around the world this year. She's been in India. She's been in Australia. Do you have any favorite moments from either one of those trips that you wanted to touch upon?
Oh man, I loved Sydney, Australia, going to see the Sydney Opera House. That was amazing. But I love going to events like that. They're just kind of like smaller knowledges. It's a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, India, the energy coming from that place, like all the different places we visited in Delhi and Pune and Hyderabad, all the places we visited, incredible. And twice, it's my second time in India. And both times it was amazing to be in the community like that. So no particular moment, but it was all very fun.
Well, shout out to everyone that showed up for those events. We love seeing you. We love speaking with you. In fact, it's actually by proxy of those events that we have a really awesome conversation lined up today. So, Kristy, before we introduce our phenomenal guest, give us a little backstory on kind of how we arrived at today's episode's topic.
Yeah, I would love to. So as part of my travels, I just traveled down the street. I'm based in Connecticut. And last year I was at the New York World Forum and in the community space. And I had the opportunity to speak to our guest today while we were there. And as we were talking, we found out that we had some things in common. We were both in the ServiceNow community. We're both women in tech and really like the flexibility of our jobs. But one of the things we talked about and discovered is that we both have kids and we both have a son that's about the same age, and both of our sons are on the autism spectrum. So we shared a lot of stories about how, it's difficult parenting a child who is special needs and on the spectrum. And I really loved her passion. And I thought her story would be a really great story because I don't think we hear enough about that. And I think there's a lot of people out there that could really relate kind of to some of her struggles and my struggles and as a parent of a child on the spectrum. So that's kind of what led us down the path to this conversation.
Well, I appreciate you bringing this to my attention, Kristy. I couldn't agree more as far as the topic is concerned. And thank you for joining me in this conversation. Listener community, I don't know if you know this about me. I'm currently not married. I don't have any children. So I didn't feel it was completely appropriate for me to dive into this completely without any experience. So thank you, Kristy, for also willing to be vulnerable on the podcast today. So let's not bury the lead any further. Dharti Shah, welcome to Breakpoint. How are you doing today?
I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you, Kristy, for the wonderful introduction.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could not be happier to have you here. We met in person in New York as well, so I'm thrilled to have you in the podcast. And actually, by the time this episode comes out, hopefully we'll have all seen each other in New York again at the 2025 World Forum in New York City. So, Dharti, let's hear a little bit about yourself. What currently do you do with regards to ServiceNow and kind of what led you to your career here?
I'm Dharti Shah. I'm a certified technical architect, and I have been in the IT career over a decade now, and ServiceNow since Eureka release. Before getting into ServiceNow, I was a senior QA consultant, worked in e-commerce, mobile, conductor app, lots of vendor integrations, virtual agent. Yes, virtual agent back then, early on, and food and beverage industries. I got introduced to ServiceNow when I was returning back from maternity leave and going back to work. And it was about flexibility and being able to work remote. And initially, I wanted to work part-time too while I was figuring out my son's situation. So the timing was perfect. And initially, I worked on the small project where I ended up wearing all the hats. And over the years, I have done multiple implementations in ITSM, HAM, SAM, CMDB, CSDM, almost everything. And currently I lead the ServiceNow platform team.
Wow. So you've really taken that rocket ship by storm in your career at ServiceNow. So you said you started off, just kind of looking for something to fill the gap of adding more flexibility to your life. So it's nice to hear that ServiceNow could add that. But you've also really taken it by storm, especially by making it all the way to the CTA or Chief Technical Architect. Like that's an unbelievable achievement. So congratulations there as well.
Thank you.
So, we keep mentioning the CTA program. Obviously, we should level set for the people that have not heard this acronym all that frequently. So CTA is referring to a certified technical architect. And what this program does over a variety of months is it really equips professionals that you have to apply to be part of it. It's not just any old person can jump into this, but it helps them get the architecture experience and learn how to design and integrate securely and with governance the ServiceNow platform in a variety of ways. So whenever you're seeing someone being accepted as a certified technical architect, not only is it a tremendous accomplishment, but one that took a considerable amount of time and represents a pretty large span of platform knowledge as well, enough to make those decisions on behalf of other developers and development teams. So there are qualifications for this. There is the certified system administrator, the certified system application developer, a few other things as well. So it represents kind of a pinnacle of a even more storied ServiceNow career up until this point. When did you go through the program?
I went through the program earlier this year. My cohort started in the March and it completed in June.
Ooh, right in the middle of all the knowledge stuff. Definitely the most busy cohort time to pick.
And she's over here like, no big deal, no sweat.
Biggie,
it was
no
easy,
biggie.
no problem.
Right?
Blows my mind.
Everybody thinks that certifications are just for somebody in the consulting, but I would highly recommend everyone who is interested, even at the client side, to go through the CTA program. The program is amazing. You go through all the learning, the modules are tailored to increase your knowledge. And the best part about CTA was the VCS session. That every week you have your cohort VCS session where you get a topic and then you are presenting, you are meeting and you are discussing. And that was the best part of my journey in the CTA program, where you get to listen, because of course you hear others' perspective as well. And you have the same, so everybody in the room who is passionate about building something amazing, and they have seen their challenges and their perspectives. So it was very insightful, and we all got to learn from each other, and we all bonded on the passion of doing something amazing in ServiceNow.
Yeah, can we go back? Because you mentioned a part of the CTA they call VCA. I'm
VCS.
ignorant when VCS.
Uh-huh.
What does that stand for? Because I'm ignorant as well when it comes to the CTA and the different modules that are part of the CTA.
Sure. So every week in the CTA program, you have a VCS session where based on the modules that you learn during that week, there is a topic where your cohort team, group team works on the presentation, and one person from the team does the presentation. And every week there is a guest in the VCS session who would evaluate your presentation and give you a feedback.
Interesting. Who are these guests? Are they ServiceNow people that are the guests, or people from the community? Like, who do they bring in for these guests?
It was depending on the topic. Most of the time it was ServiceNow, but again, it was depending on the topic. So for example, if it was a topic on the governance, so that time expert who has been supporting in this area would be as a guest.
And so do you have any specific plans now that you have your CTA, any plans to use that CTA or that platform to then give back to the community, or to do something with that CTA within the community? Like make content or whatever the case may be?
Definitely. Yeah. I wish to find some more time to make content and inspire others.
So Dharti, I'm very curious. Again, congratulations on your CTA. That is a massive accomplishment. It's an amazing accomplishment. I'm curious of how did you balance kind of preparing for that CTA with the responsibilities of having a family on top of we talked about it earlier before the show, of having the therapies and all the things that go into supporting a child that's on the spectrum. How did you balance all of that? Because CTA is a lot to take on.
Actually, when I was going, I have been wanting to do certified technical program, architect program since past 3 4 years,
Mm.
and it's just I thought it's going to be too much work and everything, and I wasn't enrolling. But finally, with this I decided, okay, I'm going to go through the program, and it was not bad at all. Even in the first module, it was covering the architect responsibility, and I connected right away, and I realized that some of the learnings in the architect, like doing the gap analysis, focusing on the outcome, focusing on the making the impact, I have learned those 8 9 years back while I was going through my son's diagnosis. And early on we got introduced to ABA therapy, speech therapy, OT, where I learned to do land skills assessment, conducting a gap analysis, coming up with a targets and goals based on the data, doing the continuous improvement. And so I easily connected those, and I had no idea that I have learned those already early on while going through the experiences with my son, which I have been applying in my work. So I had already been a technical architect, and now it's just about going through the program, meeting those wonderful minds in the VVCS was the best part of the program, where I got to connect with the others like me who has a passion for ServiceNow and who wants to help client not just with the return on investment, but they want to make an impact.
I think one of the things that, as an outsider looking into this scenario, you hear a lot of almost like fear. It's not fear mongering per se. I don't think it's intended to fear monger, but you hear a lot of people talking about the amount of difficulty it is being a working parent. I think that my mother heard that. And so it's interesting to hear you say, like, no, it wasn't necessarily this tremendous overbearing burden to even aspire for something as large as the CTO program. So I love hearing you championing that. Was that something that came easily to you, being both a working parent and a parent of a child on the spectrum, or is it something that had to kind of grow over time as well?
Okay, so two things are really important here. First is family support and the village that I have around supporting my son, that I could
Mm-hmm.
do what I am passionate about. That's suppose my wonderful husband, and the school support and the therapies that my son gets. So I have all the time for myself and the career. And the second is that, let's be honest, being a IT professional and being a mom of a neurodiverse child, it's not a
Mm-hmm.
simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned to navigate around, and proudly I can say that I'm doing that with love, passion, and grit. All I want is to make an impact and make a difference. Help everyone be their best, whether it is at home, at work, or in the community. And that mindset has helped me navigate and balance everything.
That's amazing. It's funny because you said something earlier that it never dawned on me that I had been doing some of the things that we were learning to support our son, like the whole idea of like applying some of the things that you've learned as a ServiceNow professional to the idea of therapy, or vice versa. You learned it in therapy and then you came to ServiceNow. I was like, oh, hey, I've done this already. I know how this you've taught me something today, Dharti. I had no idea, never thought about it, but you're exactly right. Some of that you can apply from both worlds. So that's an interesting take on it, and something that I think people could take away and see that it's not so dissimilar from each other. So
On that topic, I really want to highlight few things that what I learned from ServiceNow that I apply integrated to my son's life, and what my son's taught life and going through those experiences has taught me that I brought to work. So first I would think I would like, before even anybody could taught me, or before even I went through the CTA program, understanding the audience, being patient, reading the audience mind at the moment, and tailoring the response and prompt accordingly. That's
Mm-hmm.
something I have been learning in the therapies and the parent training since 9 years. So it came naturally to me, and I was able to apply it to work.
And that might honestly makes you pretty much an outlier in the tech world. Because let's be honest, I would say that, sometimes clear and honest communication is a little muddy sometimes in the technical world. So coming in with the ability to clearly communicate with your peers, be patient, understand where people are coming from, I think, like you said, it makes you an accelerated person in your field already, instead of this, it's definitely nothing holding back any at all. In fact, it adds to your ability to do your job, which I think is a magical thing about this.
And I would add one example here. I remember I was doing one item implementation that included end-to-end automation, starting with the whole entire asset lifecycle, integrating with the procurement and then retirement and disposal, and which included each and every single developer component out there, single UI policy to complex integrations, which is internal, external, and of course, we were all proud of it and super excited of what we have built for the client. But for me, the way I looked at it as, it's not just a code, but how it's gonna empower everybody, each and every role and persona, whether it was a IT fulfiller, it was a operations team, service desk, asset management team, finance. So when I was doing my demos on solutions for each and every team, I was focusing on the outcome. I was not focusing on like, okay, yes, all these updates that I have, we are all excited. These are all the works we put in to build it. But I was focused on how it's going to change their day to day, how it's going to save time for their do their work more efficiently, which used to take days. And now some of the work they don't even have to do. It's automation taking care of updating those data, and also tailoring that and to the audience. And I remember later on when I was done with those all the demo sessions, everybody reached out to me separately, even if it was executive or service desk or IT person. They were like, it was so amazing to see the passion that automation can be this personal. Somebody who wants to just make an impact, help someone be their best and make a difference. And I think that just came, and that moment stuck with me. I didn't even realize and what I have become going through the experiences and learning that I got from my son.
Do you think definitely that's unique to the ServiceNow platform? Because obviously, like you said, you had a career in tech leading up to this. You said you have a 10-year career in tech. Do you think, is there a specific attribute about being a ServiceNow professional that has made that aspect, easier to come by? Or
Definitely. Platform is built for each role and persona. It's built to them. So it's very easy to tailor to everyone's needs and the use cases.
True.
It's built in mind with simple service desk person, the somebody who goes in the portal to make their life easy, to the executive with that KPI and dashboard. So I could see the digital transformation it's making and the impact it's making on the organizations, helping with the employee experience, giving them that time back. And the time that everybody could spend with their family and not having to worry about replying in the email, having those silos, connecting everyone and helping be them more efficient.
Yeah, I love that, and I don't know about you, Dharti, but I know that one of the things that my son has taught me is to not assume perspective. That everybody has a different perspective on a situation or how things affect them, and those sorts of things. And I wonder if, like, your son, I'm sure, has taught you something very similar, if not the same thing. That the perspectives, you always think about the people's perspectives, but in terms of, like, you talked about an implementation, has your experience with your son kind of changed the way that you approach things like accessibility or inclusivity or user experience when you're building things with inside of ServiceNow? Has that changed your mindset at all, or having your son
Definitely,
change your mindset?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that also not just at one level, user experience accessibility for each and every level. So not just helping about one person, it's about helping everyone. It's
Yeah.
it's whole entire employee experience, whatever is needed to do their role best. And ServiceNow, best thing about ServiceNow is it has a capability for that. It has a function, it has a capability that can solve use cases for each and every role and persona.
Now, one thing that you brought up as well, when I was asking you about the difficulties of pivoting from motherhood to working and back and forth between the two, you mentioned that it was the village around you that made that transition easy. And I couldn't agree more. Watching, my mother, who is a business owner and still is, and she's almost 70. Don't tell her I said that. But it's her birthday year. Happy birthday, Mom. But I've watched her do this side by side with my father, with a whole collection of people that made this a more seamless transition. Within the ServiceNow ecosystem, are there specific aspects of the digital village that have helped make that happen as well?
Definitely. ServiceNow ecosystem is wonderful. Whether it's about ServiceNow Learning, now it's ServiceNow University, online resources, forums, developer meetups, community snug, and of course the events like World Forum and Knowledge Snug, where you meet others, where you meet someone who is doing something amazing, and then you get inspire each other, and all those conversations that help you move forward further. It's not just
Mhm.
about sharing knowledge and helping each other, but it's also about making connections. And let's take about example here. It wasn't like that is how I met Kristy, I met you, and I have met Chuck and many others in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, those events, I've met some very interesting people at the events. I mean, if you think about like current things we do, like the C3 idea came from somebody at a World Forum or somebody within the community, and we kind of
Yes.
built on that. So I mean, the you mentioned like just not meeting people in the community or not like seeing like cool demos and things like that, but it's all about being there, talking to people, meeting people that you would never meet otherwise unless you had been at that event. So that's one of the things I do love about those events, world forums being a little bit more intimate than knowledge and things like that.
Now, one thing that you seem to be remarkably good at time management, because you're talking about CTA, you're talking about SNU, you're talking about our program. How do you manage your time, especially on top of already being a working mother? Is there a specific? Do you have any like tips and tricks for getting the most out of your day?
Yeah, definitely. I have my, just like we do visual card for my son, I have my time. Okay, for morning coffee, I go through my mails, I look out my work day, and then the brain automatically starts working. Even if when I'm doing dishes or
Yeah.
making my son's lunch, things are already happening in my brain. And then I'm already thinking that, okay, I have this meeting, this is going on. It just started multitasking. I'm not sure if it's just that I enjoy the work I do or I'm motivated and passionate about it, but then the multitasking has been happening for many years. And of course, with the being a flexible remote work, that okay, when I'm done with the work, I'm able to connect with my son, and then I work remote, so I don't spend time in the commute or
Mm,
um, so that saves almost, if I were to commute 1 hour each day, then that's 2 hours going out of the house.
true.
So that's definitely been very helpful that I'm able to pick up my son. That's 10 minutes, 15 minutes that I get to talk to him. When he's done with his therapies, I'm able to connect with his therapist. So I think that daily time zone, because of the flexibility that I'm getting, and I'm able to multitask and do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one question because you made me think of it as you were talking just now. There's a lot of misconceptions and myths out there about working moms or working parents. I won't just classify it to moms because my husband is a stay-at-home parent. He's the main caregiver. I'm super fortunate. We talked about it takes a village, so not everybody's in that situation. But is there a misconception or myth or something about working parents or parents with autism, parents with kids with autism in particular, that you would challenge or kind of just say, yeah, that's not exactly true? Is there anything that you can think of that maybe is what people think is a common knowledge, but really is not?
Yeah, definitely. If I can do it, you can do it. So there was a time early on when even when I moved to ServiceNow, I was about, do I quit work or do I just go and become maybe a therapist to support my son better? But it was my husband, my late in-laws, and my family, and of course the professionals in my son's life. And I think I would definitely credit them as well, because of the area I live in, the support that I have been getting, the school support, the therapy support. So then they all supported me continue to work in IT, and they were like, "Oh, you work in this you tool that you are saying service now, you are passionate about, and then you want to work. So you don't need to change the career to support your child, and instead you can make impact in many different ways." So that's where it helped. And my husband works full time too, but he's very supportive. So because of that, I am able to do this, what I love and enjoy doing. And the best thing, another I would highlight here is, initially I had that guilt that, okay, um, I should have quit so I could do I can do home parenting for my son. But then there was one day that I think it was 4 years back or something, that my son just came and he's sitting in my room, and then he's putting the headset on, and then I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm working. I'm fixing the issue." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is awesome." And then my
Aw.
therapist is laughing. We all are laughing. And definitely, we know that with autism, it's hard to build those concepts and the connections. They do things. So definitely seeing me work hard. Of course, I sounded like make it easy, but it's just that energy I get from him. And the platform is so exciting. I mean, who would not love it? Come on.
Yeah.
There's so much, every release, there's something new to learn about, be excited about. And all this, as I said, right, it's delivered with the role and persona. So there's something to help everyone, each and
Yeah.
every level of the employees. There is something in the platform that can help to be their best and make their life easy and give that time back to that family.
One question I have for the two of you. So I think that over time we have seen the technical career transform a lot. I know that by the time I entered it, that the gender parity wasn't as bad as it was 20 years ago, right? There's still obviously a little bit of unbalance with regards to the amount of women in tech versus men. I think it's remarkably increased the last 3 or 5 years or so, but still, there's a marked difference. But do you have any words of wisdom for women looking to pursue a career in technology? I think that I want people to walk away from this episode feeling inspired, seeing this as like it's like running the 4-minute mile with regards to this. No one knew it was possible until someone did it, and then a lot of people did it. And so I think that's, when I look at people like you, Kristy and Dharti, that are these amazingly talented business professionals that are also, running an entire family and have a wonderful life outside of work as well. I see that as a huge goal personally of mine to aspire for. So other women that are listening to this, do you have advice for them?
I mean, as far as breaking into tech, my mom bought me a computer when I was 8, and a computer when I was 8 was a Commodore 64C. So she saw that things were starting to move into the digital age, and she's like, "Well, we'll buy her a computer. She likes it. That's great. She'll have a career." And she was dead on the money. Like, it was great.
Great investment.
Great investment. I took to it. I loved it, and I took off. But as I got older and actually got into a tech career, it started to get a bit more difficult, because yes, you were surrounded by men, which isn't a bad thing. It was,
No.
you were a minority in the industry, in the tech industry, and it was really hard to find a voice. So if I had advice for women that are trying to get into tech, at least for me, is to find your voice, and don't let the louder voices in the room always win. Like, don't. Because I would always start questioning myself. Imposter syndrome. My God, I've had imposter syndrome since I got into tech. Always like questioning, why am I here? Because there's so many smarter people in the room. You were just as smart. You deserve to be there. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just keep going, find your path, find the thing that you love, and just go after it. That would be my advice.
Yeah. Dharti, do you have any advice?
Sure, definitely. One advice that I have is, if you like doing something, you think you have a talent, just jump in and offer help. So, for example, you are in the project and then you see some amazing opportunity or some difficulty or pain point for the client. And if you're interested, go for it, solve it, get a solution, put in front of the team, and that's how the learning happens, and that's how you grow. Most of my growth happened as I said, like in the first project, I was a ServiceNow consultant. And then it's just that seeing the client, seeing what ServiceNow can offer, researching myself and coming up with the solutions. And before even I realized, I started doing solution architect and doing this hat and doing this role. So, and trust me, when you do something that you enjoy, work doesn't feel like work. And
True.
and happy mom, happy child. It's always there. So
True.
if you like something, if you have a passion for it, don't wait for somebody to give you that opportunity. Just jump in and do the work.
I love that too.
Yep.
I love
Yep.
having the courage to use your voice, having the the willingness to help others in the pursuit also of bettering yourself. I love those two things. If I had to think of one, I realized a few months ago I had never been on a team at work where I wasn't the first woman.
Hmm.
But very rarely was that ever a issue. I mean, honestly, I've had the privilege of working for phenomenal teams, surrounded by a lot of phenomenal guys, and they very rarely ever made me feel othered for my gender. I could count the number of times on one hand. However, sometimes you bump against that in life, in work, where you will be othered for your gender. You will be othered for your age or your hair color or your race. And that inevitability exists. And so sometimes you can accept that that's an annoying thing and kind of bemoan it, or frankly sometimes you can use it to your advantage. Honestly, people are already looking at
Yes.
you, so give them a reason to look. Excel for greatness, be the best, and make that the reason they're paying attention to you, not just your gender, not just your age or race. If they're already looking, make it worth their while.
That's
in
right.
that regard.
That's right. Exactly right.
Or if they're already listening to you, make it worth their listen. So I think that's some very sound advice from all of our perspectives.
Mhm.
Is there any other interesting pursuits? So I think the interesting thing with technology is that it changes rapidly. I think that we have all, even in our own careers, seen technology change rapidly. Dharti, I'll start with you. Is there anything that really excites you about where ServiceNow is headed? Anything that excites you with regards to these tools that make your job easier, or the future that's being fostered that it will make the future of your child easier? What's exciting you about this future wave of technology?
Sure. I'm already excited and happy that ServiceNow is no longer just a IT service management tool. It has already evolved. It has
Yeah.
already evolved in the tool for digital transformation. And with the era of agentic AI and generative AI, it's going to help to connect the workflows, automate, and make the life simple and easy. So that
Mm.
means better employee productivity, and you people don't have to spend the time on repetitive tasks and all, getting the help to do their task efficiently, and eliminating the silos, connecting each other to focus on what really matters, improving that. And that means that you get more time to spend with family and at home, at the same time be able to do efficiently and deliver those results at work.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as far as ServiceNow is concerned, it's obviously the AI stuff. Idea of agentic AI. I'm very involved in the hack zone, for those who might not know that. And we've been trying to find ways to kind of build in agentic AI into the hack zone. And so I'm like, I really want to use it, but I just can't think of a way. And then I was like, oh, the garden project, that's perfect. And I've actually started like building into agentic AI, and man, that stuff is powerful. Like the idea that I can just say, okay, here's the steps you need to follow, all in plain language, and give it some tools that it can use to go do it, and how
Yeah.
easy it is to plug all of that together. I mean, that's powerful, I think. And I mean,
Yes.
we've already lowered kind of the barrier to entry with making apps and building apps in the platform. The whole idea that I can just use my own language to tell the platform how to automate something, that's incredible to me. Like that blows my mind, that's something that we're like on the precipice of and getting there very quickly. You asked about also personal and with the kids. We had our AMA today, and this is my same answer. the whole auto driving cars and how good they're getting. Like, I'm really hoping they get that good in the next like 6 to 8 years, because that's the time frame that my kids are going to start driving. I don't want my kids to have to drive a car. I want the car to drive them. So that's relating to my kids, where I hope technology gets to in the next less than a decade, hopefully.
Well, that's an interesting point too. I never really thought about how AI is affecting, I mean, obviously I think about this in general, but with regards to like autism spectrum, like are there a lot of AI related tools that you see like on the horizon to help with assistance? Or
I mean, we've used generative AI in the space of less about like helping, but more about generating like, so my son's a very visual learner. So he really likes to see visuals of when to do something or not to do something or how to do something, because the pictures like give him like a breakdown, like a task analysis board. So you first you do this. We have them all over the house, like brush.
He loves an IKEA. He loves an
Oh,
IKEA.
he loves IKEA. Yes. But he's got all the visuals for all the tasks. And we've used generative AI to create those, which has been really nice. I mean, you can find them online, I guess, but like we've tried to theme them in certain ways because he's a big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. So we'll theme them in Sonic the Hedgehog, and it gives this great task analysis. I know they're working on other tools for supporting neurodiverse people, not just kids. But we haven't delved into that realm just yet.
That's fascinating. I had never thought about using it for, I mean, hey, all those lab authors out there for Knowledge 26, there's your ticket out of doing some of those screenshots perhaps, and maybe having generative AI help you with them.
Yeah.
Dharti,
sure.
have you found any practical AI uses in your household?
I haven't yet, but something that I'm gonna try is building an app. Just like Kristy mentioned, my son is also fascinated with elevators and the dryers. So
Same. He loves elevators. That's what he loved about IKEA, that we would play Luigi's Mansion and go look for elevator buttons.
So I'm hoping to find a time to build a custom application where I can have his task, and somehow I can make the flow with his special character. So I haven't got to there, but that's something that I have in my mind to build for him.
Very cute. Very nice.
Very cool. Yeah, he's in fourth grade. My son's in fourth grade, and in third grade they got their own Chromebooks, and we actually had to take his Chromebook away because he was getting too sneaky with the Chromebook. Like,
how so?
He would do all his schoolwork and stuff, and then he would start like looking up. He was also fascinated with stand-up potties for a long time, like urinals. And so I saw him one day on Amazon, and he had $3,000 worth of stand-up potty parts in his Amazon cart, like automatic flushers and all the things that go along with it in his Amazon cart. Fortunately, it was not signed in, so he couldn't buy it. But I'm like, okay, maybe we need to take it easy on the laptop, because we're going Amazon crazy now. But.
It's like that Tony Stark meme where he's like, Tony Stark built it in a cave, but he's building a urinal.
Yes, he would totally do it. Like, he was trying to convince my husband to put one in the bathroom here. Like, buddy, sorry, we can't do that. You can maybe convince your grandparents that are next door.
Old Buzz Killington over here, the mom.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Yeah.
Sorry, you cannot have your personal urinal.
Yeah, your personal auto flushing potty. Yeah, no, sorry.
Well, I would like to always end these episodes on a nice call to action. So, Dharti, is there a specific thing that you'd like to recommend to our audience here today? Eddie, you had mentioned ServiceNow University being a great place. Is there a specific class you had taken that you'd really liked, or
all of them?
All of them.
Yes.
Hey, so Jim Lesser will love that comment. I'll just put that right underneath my promo.
All of them. So there was time that each and every class you have to pay, and if you are not at the client side, then you have to have a learning credit or you have to pay for it. And since this ServiceNow University is free, where you can go and take any class you want, I recommend everyone to go and you leverage it. It's your resource. Go and take the learning that you need. And not just a ServiceNow University, all this podcasts that we have, utilize all of them. So there are so many resources, even if you are trying to do the learning to of course, ServiceNow is so big and the way it is changing, there's no way you're going to keep up with each and every module and the technology. So definitely utilize the resources available, academy sessions. If you are eyeing for some implementation, look out for that academy session, sign up for those, go, and the coding happy hours that Kristy has, you have, there are so many. So just utilize, and community is very supportive. So don't be afraid to reach out to MVP, Rising Star, anyone in the community. They are there to support you. And one recommendation I would give is, don't be afraid to ask question. Everybody started somewhere. No question is a small question. So whatever is your question, go and put out in the community. There is going to be someone who is going to help you out and answer your question.
Yep.
Well said.
Yep.
Well said. I can't think of a better, more inspirational note to kind of wrap things up on. I cannot say how much I appreciate you both of you coming on this episode today. I think this topic is also extremely relevant right now, as you see autism coming up more and more in the news. So I really appreciate you talking about how not only how it is such a easily integratable part of life, but it's something that has augmented and made you, increasingly more patient and better communicators. I think this is a really great message to walk away with.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people look at autism as like for lack of a better term, like a detrimental diagnosis, but in the reality of things is I feel like I've learned more from my son. He's taught me more than I've taught him. He's taught me more patience, more empathy, seeing people's from others' perspectives. And he's taught me a ton more than I've taught him, I feel like. I don't know if that helps wrap things up for you, Lauren.
I think it's perfect. I think it's really, really perfect.
It's a learning experience for everybody. It's not just about teaching a child who's on the spectrum to have different strategies to exist in a normal world or a neurotypical world. But it's really about learning from each other.
Well, I really appreciate you both coming on and being so vulnerable about this. And I really loved today's conversation. Thank you, wonderful listener, for joining us here as well. This ServiceNow podcast has been brought to you by ServiceNow with producer me, Lauren McManamon, at the helm. This is one of many ServiceNow podcasts, and you can find the others listed at community.servicenow.com. Now, keep in mind, too, this is just kind of the middle of the fun with regards to world forums as well. If you were listening to this episode when it has come out, there are 4 World Forums left. You've got the November 12th Munich World Forum, the November 20th Paris World Forum, the December 3rd Amsterdam World Forum, which I will be at, and the December 11th Toronto World Forum as well. So please, if you are near any of those cities, please come and join us. It'll be a wonderful experience that, as far as this year goes, a much more developer-oriented experience as well. So come, say hi to the advocates that are attending, get your C3 card made. We would love to have you there. Stay hungry, stay humble, and have a phenomenal rest of your day.
Please let